grab a coffee, grab a tea, a glass of wine, whatever it is that floats your boat. We are going to talk about some products that you absolutely do not need. If you are new here on Money Article Mondays, we talk about a blog or an article related to money. And obviously one that talks about stuff that we do not need relates to money. So I am going to have the article linked down below, but if you are interested in saving money or leading a simple life, I'm also documenting our journey to paying off our house by the year of 2024. Click on that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Today's article I found on MSN.com, and this came from Gail Cooper. 16 products you absolutely do not need. So, how does this start out? I've got my computer here, so I'm not reading off of paper today. She starts out by saying, I've been sucked in by more than one gee whiz gadget or appliance in my day. I tried to live the bread maker lifestyle for years. There was a time when my panini maker enjoyed regular workouts, and my baby is 12 now. But if I could go back and look at our registry, our wedding registry years before that, I'm sure I'd laugh at what we considered want-worthy. I so wish I could somehow get back into my wedding registry and my baby registry, honestly. We just had our 11-year wedding anniversary. So to go back and see what I had on there and maybe what I still have. I know we still have and use an entire set of our Teflon stainless steel pans. Still use all of those. There's a set of colorful, they're like plastic, but they're really nice, colorful bowls that we got from Crate and Barrel, and they nest together. We use them all the time, but I am sure there are plenty of things on there that, were useless. But let's see what else she has to say. She says that the truth is we don't need a large percentage of the products being hawked at us every day. Big companies are adept at convincing us that their products will improve our lives. Yes, that is what marketing does. They somehow have to figure out how this next new product you can't live without, because you obviously weren't living before this product came out. So, I mean, I don't know what you were doing before the iPhone. What is it, like ZZXYMP now? I don't know, whatever the next one is. I don't know what you were doing, but obviously you were not living. The first one is a banana slicer. I didn't even know there was such a thing as a banana slicer. I thought it was just called a knife. I mean, how difficult is it to slice a banana with a butter knife? You don't need a banana slicer. No, you don't. Even the dullest knife can slice a banana into tasty little rounds. Instead, take some time to read this hilarious reviews of banana slicers on Amazon, because they boast plenty of humorous appeal. Oh my gosh. She says, ordering one for my nephew who's in the Air Force in California, wrote one viewer. He's been using an old Slinky. It just slices bananas. Yes. Now wait a minute. That sounds genius, because it would do it quickly, right? If you really want to save time, use a Slinky. You've got all the little slices you need, right? Number 2, a baby wipe warmer. I disagree. I'll read what you have to say, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you I disagree. I'll prove my point here in a moment. When I was pregnant, my husband and I lived 1,500 miles away from family and from her family and 1,000 miles away from his. I had no clue what baby products I'd used and which one were a waste of cash. But I never bought a baby wipe warmer, and I never regretted it. Yes, you need baby wipes and you'll go through plenty, but the wipes don't come out of the container frozen. If you don't store your baby wipes in an unheated garage, the temperature should be just fine, even on baby's delicate skin. Nope, I don't agree. So hear me out, okay? Yes, babies can get used to maybe a little bit more of a room temperature, but it's still never room temperature. I don't know what you're talking about. Unless you're storing them in an unheated garage. No, yeah, when you put the baby wipe on, it's still cold. Just try it. Put it on your butt in the middle of the night when you just woke up and you're going to pee. Just experiment. The main reason that we liked it, and we loved it actually, was it melts poop. What does that mean? Well, if you want to do an experiment to get poop off a baby's butt with a regular wipe, not heated, and one with a warmed up wipe, go ahead, try it. You'll see which one gets it off better and easier and less irritating to the baby's bottom. It's gonna be the warm one. So for all those people that say, don't buy a wipe warmer, hey, if you don't want to, that's fine. I loved it and we used it for years. Number 3 is a panini press. Now, I always wondered about these. I've never had one, never even used them, but I do love going to a restaurant where they like give you a panini and it's all nice and pressed. It says, I love paninis, pressed toaster sandwiches, from simple ham and cheese to corned beef Reubens to apple and brie mixes up, but I hate storing and cleaning my panini maker. Does anybody remember the George Foreman? Okay, put your hand up. Do you remember that? Do you remember trying to clean that thing? Now, this was before it had the removable grill plates. First of all, this was back when we ate meat, we would grill chicken and stuff on it. We would sit there forever scraping that thing because you couldn't get it soaked. So you couldn't put it actually in the sink with water. Obviously you couldn't put it in the dishwasher either. So you had to somehow clean it, and it just never could get clean all the way. And so you'd use paper towels and see how much you had left on it, and you throw it away and you do it again. Nope, still there. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about if you've had one. This says you can make a pressed sandwich in a frying pan easily. Yeah, I place anything flat and somewhat heavy, a dinner plate or a ceramic tile, till I use I use this as a spoon rest on top of the sandwich. Well, you could also just take a spatula and smush it. Number 4, an avocado slicer. Again, it's called a knife. Perhaps you've seen the stories about how avocado hand is a common injury caused when people try to cut their avocado and somehow slice their own hand in the process. How big of a knife are you using? You realize you could use a table knife. Yeah, so it makes sense that someone invented an avocado slicer. These devices differ in design, but usually have a sharp blade to cut into the avocado because obviously it's as tough as a brick. Am I losing my noodle? And a rounded section to remove the pit. Now the pit, that thing's a pain in the rear. If you want to try to not squish the inside of the other side that gets the pit and you try to scoop that thing out, don't first of all try to poke it out with the knife. I've tried to do that. That is when you could stab yourself. I use just a spoon and then the thing ends up across the room. Maybe that's just me. Number 5, a passport holder. Well, I don't travel much at all, so I wouldn't know if a passport holder was a good investment or not. It says, I've traveled to a variety of countries from Japan to Iceland and have never, ever needed a passport holder. The cover on my passport is sturdy all on its own. When I pop my passport into a purse or carefully watch tote, it doesn't get wrinkled, bent, or lost. When I did travel and I had a passport, it was fine. You know, it's made that way. I guess if, you want something cutesy, but, as she's saying here, something you absolutely do not need. No, you don't need a passport holder. Number 6, standalone GPS. Yeah, not now, but before they had it in the car or you had it on your phone, the GPS was the thing, because before that, you had to go on MapQuest before you went to wherever you're going on the internets, on the MapQuest, and you had to put in there where you were going. And you're driving around with the printout of the MapQuest, which somehow didn't update when the road name changed and you get lost anyway. Now, who else remembers that? Am I showing my age? Anyway, my sister Ann was the first person I ever knew to have a standalone global positioning system. She and her husband nicknamed it Alice. When we traveled together, she would carefully set it up on her dashboard. We would punch in an address and ask Alice to help us find the way. Alice has long been retired. My sister, like many of us, has a car with a built-in GPS. She also has a smartphone. Yeah, they are not needed any longer. They were needed before, but no, you don't need them now. Number 7 cracks me up. Shoes for newborns. My daughter was born in November, and we didn't put shoes on her until she started walking in the following September, I think. And because we didn't put shoes on her, she didn't like shoes. So I do think at some point before they start to get to that, independent age, that you should maybe start putting them on just a little bit to get them used to it, because she was not having it. Let's see what this says. There's a famously tear-jerking story, just 6 words long, for sale, baby shoes, never worn. Can't help it. That tale works because our mind immediately assumes that the mysterious baby never lived long enough to wear shoes. And yes, it tears me up too. No? I get it. Why does it tear you up? Because, no. Okay. But then I snap back and think maybe the person just bought baby shoes and their kid outgrew them when they were too little to walk. Or maybe they didn't walk around in them and they never actually made them look like they've been used. Jeez. Baby shoes are mostly for parents to coo over and capture forever in cute families, pet photos. Babies are happy in socks or bare feet until they're toddlers. Yes. So if you want to do it for, pictures, hey, you do you, but absolutely not needed. Number 8 is a controversial one, called crib bumpers. I can still picture our crib bedding set decked out with purple butterflies, but I never bothered to use crib bumpers that came with it. Oh boy. So I'm not going to get into this one because there's there's clear risk of, there's the padded bumpers. We used the mesh bumpers, and it was just so they could breathe through, and they're great. Gosh, that was 5 years ago, so I'm sure they're even more, I guess, engineered better now. But it was like a mesh that you intertwined around the bed or around the crib railing. That's what we used rather than those cloth bumpers, which apparently are a big no-no. But otherwise, the kid will get their leg through the thing because they just kind of go all over the place, and and get stuck, and they could get hurt that way. So hey, talk to your doctor. I'm not gonna get in that controversy. Number 9, a juicer. Now, I've always been curious about these, but again, I don't like juice because I don't like fruit. If you don't know me, I don't like fruit. I like strawberries and bananas, but occasionally. I don't like sweet things unless it's chocolate, which isn't really sweet. Anyway, my sister-in-law gave us a juicer for our wedding. I remember being really touched by her choice of gift. It seemed to speak to an aspiring lifestyle that a newly married couple should seek out, making our own healthy, fresh juices. No more Tropicana for us, but it was used fewer than 15 times, and cleaning the different parts was a headache. Yes. Does anybody else hate cleaning choppers, griddles, blenders? It's just not easy. It's ridiculous. The next one are pizza scissors. What the heck is a pizza scissor? Confession, sometimes I do cut homemade pizza with scissors. I love fresh mozzarella on pizza, and the slippery, gooey cheese and toppings sometimes slides off when I use the pizza cutter. Well, that's just part of life. You just push the cheese back on it. Now you can buy specifically marketed pizza scissors, some even with extra long blades and a sort of built-in spatula base. Clearly, I haven't been, shopping for kitchen items recently because I'd never heard of that. Number 11. Barbecue claws. Like claws, C-L-A-W-S. Barbecue claws or meat claws look kind of like props from the movie Wolverine. They're meant for shredding barbecue meat or lifting a big chunk off the grill. As tempted as I am to pretend I am a wild animal, I could use regular forks for this. You know what though? I mean, I guess it's like a big fork. You just look at it on the, geez, I probably used the word like 15 times there. Anyway, it's similar to maybe a big fork. Just go check it out on the link below. Number 12, a biscuit cutter. No, miss. Biscuit cutter is necessary. I am a biscuit making aficionado, so I know. This says, few things are better with breakfast than a flaky, fresh out of the oven biscuit, dripping with butter and honey. Although I've purchased some simple round biscuit cutters in the past, they're far from necessary. Flatten out the dough, that homemade dough, flour the rim of a thin rimmed glass, and punch out the biscuit. There's something, it's not the same. A biscuit cutter is necessary. It's sharp, so it's going to get into that dough, whereas a glass is going to push down the sides more. Sorry, nope. Biscuit cutter, definitely necessary. You only need one. They last forever. It's not a big deal. Number 13, hamburger patty mold. I got to admit, This is a really fun list. This is just different stuff. No, you don't need a hamburger patty mold. You want to know why? These things are great, right? Yeah. They can mold hamburger patties as well as drive cars. Unless you run a White Castle or a McDonald's out of your kitchen, you probably don't need a hamburger mold any more than you do a biscuit cutter. Number 14, an herb stripper. I really wanted my herb stripper to work. It's a plastic leaf shaped gadget with a variety of different shaped holes in it. You find the holes that fit your herb, slide the branch through, and let the plastic strip off the tasty leaves. Well, pulling the herbs off of that strip is a pain in the rear, but yeah, you absolutely don't need it, and I don't even know if that works or how well it would even work. Number 15, a Post-it note holder. I proudly support my home state product. Apparently, she's from Minnesota, home of the 3M company, where Post-it notes were invented. With pads of Post-its in my kitchen, roll-top desk, coffee table, and probably more places than I can remember, but the pads are self-contained. I've never once wished I had a holder for storing them. Now, you don't need the block holder for storing them. It's cute. But what I do love is, the Post-its that you can put in the thing. I'm just grab it. And it's got a clear top and it's got a hole that's as long as or as wide as the Post-it is. And you pull it out and it leaves the rest of the Post-its in there. Because otherwise, if you pull one of those, what do you call it? The Z-shaped ones, they would all kind of come up like an accordion. Those are the ones I love because, sometimes it's a pain to rip off like the Post-it note from the block, etc. Yeah, not necessary, but I like that thing. Number 16, a bread machine. This says, I still own a bread machine and a few bread machine cookbooks, but much as I love a fresh baked loaf of sourdough, I've never taken to using the machine. I don't mind kneading the bread. It's kind of soothing, actually, to feel the dough transform from sticky or lumpy into glossy and smooth right under your fingertips. But if I bake it in the machine, the bread comes out with awkward holes in the bottom of the loaf, created by the appliance paddles. I haven't given away my bread maker yet, but can see one day it might be toast. Yeah. No, I have tried to make bread, not in a bread maker because I'm not doing that. I'm not buying that extra appliance because those things are huge. I'm sure some people make them and it works out great and they're beautiful and they're big, but it does not work out for me. So tell me, what is a product that you think, it seems like a lot of these were food related, that you think are absolutely you do not need? I know for me, the grape slicers or the strawberry cores or the apple cores, that's not necessary. There's a lot of things out there though that just because somebody doesn't need it doesn't mean it's not helpful to them. If somebody has arthritis in their hands really bad, or has trouble cutting some things or whatever it may be, some of these things are better for them and beneficial. So yeah, maybe the average person or some people don't need them, but that doesn't mean that everybody doesn't. So put down below what you think people absolutely do not need. I'd just love to read that in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you back for more videos.